How we doing, guys?
Uh-oh.
What's up?
I'm walking in on something.
I hear you.
Hack the play. I like it, though. Got some juice in this room.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
I know it's tough after that last one.
Yeah.
That's what I get for giving you guys a week off.
What you get for closing practice?
That's right. I didn't close practice. I gave you the week off.
Yeah, close practice.
I gave you the week off.
Semantics.
All right.
I appreciate that.
Out of respect for the key grip, I will hold here.
So we're good.
Are you sure?
You can't reward people who roll in at the last minute.
Yeah, I might be a little early. Okay, we ready to go? You guys good and back? Well, obviously, guys, very disappointing outcome to last week's game. It's one of those deals that obviously was a tale of two halves. Give credit to them for coming out of the locker room and really taking it to us. Their crowd did a great job, momentum-wise, and yet I think we were responsible for letting them back in the game, from an emotional standpoint and a fan standpoint. But it was a great atmosphere. Those are the kind of games you enjoy playing in. I think the big thing is moving forward is, what can we learn from it, and how long are we going to let it affect us? We have a lot ahead of us that we can accomplish, and it'll be interesting to see how we handle, people writing us off, jumping off the ship, all of those type of things. And, this is going to be a real test who each one of us are individually throughout the organization and how we handle some when things don't go well. It's interesting, you kind of think about what you can learn, but I think more importantly, knowing that, really the past and the future don't exist. I mean, they're a figment of our imagination. And one of the things you do is you learn from the past, you learn from history, and realize that what you do now actually is going to be a precursor to the future. And that's got to be important for our guys to understand lessons that they learn along the way. And how we go about this week, going into another road game, an SEC game against a team that, there again, we're lucky as heck to come out of that with a win a year ago. When you look at our track record, call it the way it is, with noon starts a year ago, we were, the FAU, Vanderbilt, and the bowl game, which none of those results were very good. So I think that, just talk about the obvious. I got no problem with that. And we've got to make sure we're ready to go play against a team that obviously has some weapons, starting with their running back, local guy that hit a big one on us last year, and this guy, man, the way he plays with energy. Guy really makes them go offensively. Very familiar with their offensive coordinator, Andy Ludwig, who would go all the way back to Big Sky Conference days. He actually was the OC at Utah when we played him in the Sugar Bowl, and they put it on us pretty good. Well aware of what he does and what he has brought to match with Derek, who's I consider a very good friend, a guy I've known a long time, a guy who is building the program the way it should be. They play discipline. You can see that by their lack of penalties. They play sound. They know what to do. And, that linebacker, Cunningham, I think is the most underrated guy in the league, as far as on either side of the ball. This guy this guy plays the game the way it should be. So this will be a big test, and I think the good thing from a standpoint of if there are anything to kind of pull from what happened, ball security, in this case tablet security, please. Okay, that'd be good. The mood in that locker room, there were a lot of hurt guys, and I'm not sure a couple of the losses even last year, I could feel that sense of hurt. And as I told them, it should hurt, because if it doesn't, something's wrong. It means you really don't care. It means you're in it for the wrong reasons. And, we'll see where we bounce from here. So, injury-wise, Joey Ivy busted up a thumb. Should know more about that. Right now, he'd be out. Tyler Jordan will get back a little bit this week, but it'll be no contact. Won't know anything there until Thursday. Jordan Sherritt, who, I'm telling you guys, this guy just plays the game the way it should be played. Consistently does his job. He's still a little banged up with that leg. But I say that, and I don't anticipate him missing, just because of who he is and how he goes about his daily business. Quincy Wilson will be out today, probably tomorrow. That'll be a Wednesday decision there with a leg. And Luke, he won't do anything today. We'll try to ease him in a little bit on Tuesday. There again, keeping him involved in the game plan. I thought part of the reason we had him dressed and kind of at the last game was I really felt that he did a great job with Austin on the sideline. I think he was really good for our team. Said a few words afterwards in the locker room as well. I think that really resonated with some guys, and he's a valuable piece of this. I would say he'd be highly doubtful for this week, but I'm still not going to count him out. But with that, I don't think Austin, other than taking the throwback, when you scramble, we've got a flood third drill that we do, and your eyes got to go to the boundary and not back inside. And that was a throw that he'd love to have back, and yet he learned from it later in the game. He threw it on a third down to, flooded third, and we got a first down out of it. So, but I thought he played pretty darn good. So, good enough for us, to win the ball game. So, anyway, questions? Yeah. Hold on here. Yeah, I don't even see his name on this. So,
after watching,
unless you know something I don't know. Okay. I mean, usually before I do anyway, so I get it.
After watching the film of the game or tape of the game, can you just talk about what went wrong in the secondary?
I think it's interesting is when you look back, I think you got to look at the first half on the drop passes. I think they did a great job of coming back to the things that were there and not saying, oh, they took it away, because we really didn't. Think about, I don't know, they had 3 or 4 big drops on some of those over routes. Is that what it was? Yeah. Those are that, they didn't give up on. Now, the flip side of that coin is the disappointing thing from our side is not understanding what leverage you need to play with in some of those situations. Obviously, when you're playing a quarterback like this, there's some spy moments there where you're hoping not to allow him which now takes a guy out of coverage, and I think they did a great job at taking advantage of that. My hat's off to them. They did a really good job in their bunch stuff and motion. I thought they had a great plan. Didn't get it executed in the first half, but didn't panic. They came back and took advantage of some of those plays in the second half. Could we have been in better position? Yes. Are there things that we, worked on and talked about? Yeah. But give them credit. They took advantage of it. And, the one bust on the wheel we actually had covered earlier, same application. But there again, they executed and we didn't.
Zach?
Jim, in the second half, it seemed like there was a lot of audibles and just things at the line of scrimmage that Austin was trying to do that play clock got down and seemed like he was rushing. Does that need to get better, and did it hurt?
Yeah, that hurt. I would go back. You go before half and you got to waste 2 timeouts in the first half, and we've got the ball before half, trying to go down and steal some points, after the field goal, and yet we shouldn't have had to use them. Yeah. Now, some of that was simple communication, even on the field, as loud as it was in there, which is awesome. That's fun. So, but I think we let that rattle us a little bit, and being aware of where the shot clocks are and understanding the importance of that. I think we lost focus of that a couple times. To me, there were a lot of telling things in that game, but, after the pick right after half and having 2 missed signals back-to-back on second and third down, and yet the third down call, just block it and you get a first down. It's not, that wasn't earth-shattering. You know what I'm getting at? So that's the disappointing thing, is we never flipped the field at all. And that's one thing you heard me talk about over and over that we had done a pretty good job of since we've been here. And this was the one game we never did flip the field.
And then you're a basketball guy, and when teams go on a run and stuff, coach will call timeout, just kind of regroup guys. I know you were short on them in the second half, but could that have?
No, that actually, believe me, that.
Could that have stopped the bleeding, maybe?
Well, I don't know. I didn't do it. But yeah, that's obviously one of those deals. And yet, even with some of the things that were happening, it wasn't like they were just tempo, tempo, tempo. And, that's one of the beauties about playing nationally televised games, is you get some extra commercials.
Yeah. Especially on CBS.
Yeah, which is a good thing, because they're, but so you kind of use those a little bit when needed too.
Question all in the middle.
Coach, you mentioned that this game was somewhat of a tale of 2 halves. As for what you saw or what you've seen on film, what you've seen from your team, do you attribute to your second half performance to schematics, or was it a matter of effort?
No, our effort was good. They took some things away, and we didn't take advantage of what they were taking away. And, probably stuck a little bit to the mom and dad and didn't go to brother-in-law and sister-in-law, which in layman's terms means you got to counter to everything you're doing. And I thought they got a pretty good beat on us. I don't think we did a very good job of that in the second half. But it's not like we didn't have hats where they needed to be, and just they outplayed us, and plain and simple. So, the interesting thing is, as I said kind of before, is what you learn, and the past and the future, they don't exist. And the key is you learn from the past, you learn from history, and future is determined by what you do right now. It's that simple. So what's our approach moving forward from each individual, each position group, and then ultimately as a team, I think is going to really tell how we come out this week.
How encouraged were you by Austin's ability to throw the deep ball? The screens seem to be working better than they have.
Yeah.
And then discouraged by the fact you couldn't continue
Do
doing that
it
because
in
of
the
the
second
offensive
half.
line.
No, I don't put it on the offensive line.
I thought you were saying you just felt kind of nervous because of the pressure up front.
No. No, I mean, they took it to us. I mean, no, I'm not saying about the offensive line. They gave us opportunities. No, I'm not putting it on them at all.
But back to Austin, the way he
Yeah.
played, and
I thought he did pretty good. What do you think?
he threw the deep ball well.
Okay, good. I'm glad you liked that. That was good.
Well,
I thought he played well. I mean, I said that. Do I think he can play better? Yeah. Am I upset about a couple throws? Yeah. He should be able to make. Am I upset Antonio Callaway slips on a curl route wide open when we had a chance to flip the field? Yeah. Get down over your toes. You know, I mean, there's things that happen. And at the quarterback position, you know, he's got to do those things better, which he'll learn this week, and see how we go moving forward.
Will he be involved when Luke comes back?
Yeah. He'll be as involved as he always was.
The right side of the offensive line seems to have played really well when you put Lonnie in right tackle and Fred there. What do you do moving forward once Tyler Jordan's cleared to get him back
Yeah, I
in?
think that's one of those things we got to see kind of when he gets cleared, because I don't know yet. So right now, he's not cleared, so we got to keep working on that. And then when that presents itself, then we've got to come up with our best rotation.
Do you anticipate shifting, moving pieces around on the offensive line at all?
You know what? We got to take care of the now. Future will take care of itself.
Robbie, you feel you need to get more out of special teams?
Yeah, you know, I think, I'll tell you what, I'm really disappointed in how our gunners covered. We got to get better there because we had them in place and the guy made us miss a couple times. Our net was pretty good, you know, as far as the coverage net, but we got to get better at that. And yeah.
And did Callaway ever give you an explanation on what he was thinking on those fair catches inside the 5?
You're supposed to put your heels at the 8 and not go backwards. He went backwards.
I'm good. Yeah, that's my question. Hey, Jim, you mentioned immediately after the game wanting the team to learn from this. You mentioned that a couple times today. So what are some specific things that you want the team to learn from it moving forward?
You know, I think don't go out and be someone you're not. Go out and be you, and do what you do. And don't try to make more out of it than that. And you know, understanding that no matter what you do in anything, there's going to be adversity. Now, the key is, do you allow your body language, your energy, and everything shrink just because something isn't going right? I mean, it's sure simple to be excited when things are good. I think reflecting back, again, learning from the past and learning from history, how conscious were you really taking care of details every day that make an impact on what occurred? Should be some guys looking in the mirror a little bit.
I know you guys were going to talk to the SEC about the soccer flop that got Brandon Powell knocked out of the game. I wonder if you got any word back on that.
No, I haven't heard yet. And are we supposed to hear?
It won't be, it'd be too early for them to weigh in on that. They traditionally do it later.
I don't know when that even comes about, so we'll find out.
Hager?
Surprised by the decision on Les Miles?
You know, yeah. And yet, being in this business, as rough as it is and the decision is, my feelings go out for those families, those players. He's obviously had an unbelievable relationship with the players over the years and the impact he's made on their lives. It's just, you hate to see it.
Why do you think you say historically, but also last year, that the team struggles with a noon kick, which is actually an 11 kick, Central Time? Just covering details.
Yeah, but it's really noon Eastern time.
It is.
So here's what we do. We do everything. We stay Eastern, even though we're flying Central. Stay on that clock, even though your phone switches to Central. Do I got you confused yet? Well, there really isn't an excuse. We scrimmage during the fall camp at noon for that reason and do everything like it was a noon tip, just like we would a 3:30, just like we would a night game. We do the same thing in the spring, trying to cover those bases. I think it's a responsibility to get yourself up and ready to go. Now, we're going to do some things this week, morning-wise, to kind of get them acclimated. Routine for a noon game is something we've covered before. I don't think it's an excuse as to when you play, but, we put ourselves in position to play at noon. How's that? So we better get used to it.
Coach, in post-game interviews, some of your players mentioned that no Florida team had gone undefeated, including those national championship teams. What do you think of the way that they decided to take that after a loss?
I don't know. I didn't know that. I guess maybe they're thinking right, but I do know this. Unless we take care of this, it's never going to matter. So there's a lot ahead of us. And, I like the way they think. That's good.
No one specifically mentioned that in post-game, Jim? Think they're aware?
No, I wasn't even aware of it. I did. I guess now I think about it, but yeah, that's kind of cool. Maybe I'll sleep better tonight. I don't know.
Any final questions for Coach? All set?
All right, thanks, guys. Yeah, that was only because more so